A very good morning to you. How are you doing? It's another beautiful Wednesday morning. If it's Wednesday, you know we have the financial clinic. Ni siku ya clinic ya mfuko. Bench nimeweka nje, nimesanitize. Mkae mmoja mmoja na maswali, msisukumane. Let me ask you a question. Do you find yourself having more month at the end of the money? Like today is the 10th and your account is already reading nil by mouth. The next 20 days we are living by faith and not by what's in the account. Is that the cycle that you go through month after month after month? You know, you've gotten to the place where you always have to borrow to make it to the end of the month, and it's become such a vicious cycle, you don't even know how to get out of it. You're always in debt. You know, what you have and your expenses, your expenses are way higher than what you're earning. You know, we are always told to live within your means, but how practical is that? Especially if you're living in a city like Nairobi. Rent ni expensive, fare ni expensive, petroli ni panda, foodstuffs are expensive. How do you live within your means? Maybe you're only earning 10,000 bob, 15,000 bob. How do you survive in a city like Nairobi? So today we talk about living below your means. How do you get to that place where you're not living above what you earn? It's expenses vis-a-vis what you earn. That's what we're talking about today. I've got two amazing gentlemen who will be joining me in the show this morning to give us ideas and to help us answer some of those hard questions. How do you budget with only 10,000 bob in 1 month and you have a family you need to feed? Is it even possible? So if you have any questions in regards to having more month at the end of the money, this is the show for you. Feel free to send in your questions. 20316 is the SMS line. WhatsApp number is 0786 316 316. As always, here we are, Wednesday morning, Financial Clinic. Today we are talking about income versus expenses. Are you spending more than you earn? Two amazing gentlemen joining me in studio via Zoom. I have Samuel Gadhungu, who's director at X Plus Consultants. Samuel, how are you doing?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you. Karibu sana. It's good to have you on the show today. I also have Amos Ngahu.
Right.
Amos Ngahu is a financial consultant. Amos, how are you doing?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm very fine. Karibu sana. Good to have you on the show. Expenses versus income. One of the things we are always told is to make sure we live below our means. Let's try and define that. I know it may sound like something all of us should be able to understand, but I like getting a basis of what we are talking about so that all of us are on the same page. When we talk about living below your means, what do we mean? Amos.
Well, it's very simple. It's just a simple explanation is I'm coming to your studios.
Mm-hmm.
It's X kilometers, and the fuel I have can only get to half of X. So it's up to me to make sure that either we meet halfway, because I only have what can get me up to half of X,
Mm-hmm.
or I top up for me to get to where you are. So basically, it's just you living within what you can afford and not going above your expenses.
Okay. I'm just wondering how practical that would be for the majority of the people, especially in cities like here in Nairobi. You know, sometimes you look at what you earn and what must be done, and the two don't align. So when you keep saying live below your means, sometimes some individuals wonder, how is that even possible? Samuel, in Nairobi, how do you live below your means and you're earning 10,000 bob a month? Utaishi wapi kwanza?
Sure. I think this is a problem that has been there even in the society.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest problems is to identify whether you are living below what you're earning.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the bottom line.
Yeah.
Because you can't treat something that you don't know whether you are suffering. So maybe in this show, we'll still be looking on those signs that you need to check on so
Mm-hmm.
that you see whether you are living below what you are earning.
Okay.
Because what we normally say, there is not much money.
Yeah, pesa ni pesa, eh?
be earning 10,000 and be living a better life than maybe someone who is earning 50,000.
Hey, that is the trick I want you to show us, how that is possible. There's something you said earlier on. So do you mean to tell me that we could be having people who are living beyond their means and they haven't even actually realized it?
Sure. And that is why you are finding that we are living on what we call paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm. Paycheck to paycheck. So how do I know if I'm living beyond my means? Let's start there. Na ni kama mmekwama. Are we using the internet beyond our means? Amos, can you get me? I can't get Samuel.
I think there's a delay on your side.
There's a delay on my side, eh? I'm living beyond my means.
There's a bit of a...
Okay, Samuel, are you still there ama umekwama kabisa? Haya, Samuel ameenda.
I'm back.
You're back. Oh, okay. Let's begin by talking about what are those signs that would be an indicator that I'm living way beyond my means.
Yeah. One of these signs is whereby you normally find that you have a large credit card.
Uh-huh.
What do I mean by credit card? Not the ATM credit card, because nowadays we have become more digital. We have platforms in our tablets.
Yes.
Or in our cell phones. And these are the credit apps.
Mm-hmm.
If you need 2,000, you just borrow from one platform to the other. So at the end of the month, if you find yourself, you have maybe more than money that you can be able to pay within a month, know that you are in the pocket of this situation that we are saying we are living beyond our means.
Mm.
That is one of the signs.
Amos, I'm just wondering.
The other one that
before you go to the other one, Amos, I'm wondering, is it possible today to live without borrowing from these apps? I mean, they've become such a part of life. They're so convenient. Is it actually possible for one to live without borrowing from those apps, the money lending apps? Because many of us, that is how we survive until the end of the month. So I'm asking, is it actually possible to survive without them?
But we have already normalized. You know, you go to a place, you want to buy something, and then you use the F word. You know, the food
yes, yes.
You're sending someone money.
Yeah.
Tell you, don't send on that line.
Yes.
That one has... And it is something that we have slowly gotten used to.
Mm-hmm.
But like my colleague is saying, people don't even know it. And it's only when it's too late, let's say you're a young person.
Yeah.
And you have gotten to a place whereby you need a job in a financial institution.
Mm-hmm.
And you're told you need a CRB clearance. That's when now you're running up and down trying to clear yourself because you've already been listed negatively.
Yes.
So it is possible to live without it because, like I always say, most of these digital lending apps are actually giving consumer debt.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not money that people are taking to go invest somewhere or you go to Gikomba and buy a shoe and sell. No,
Mm-hmm.
it's basically consumer debt. So the most important thing for us to understand is, like you're saying, once you identify that you're overspending,
mm-hmm.
and you find yourself that every time you're paying for something via your mobile phone, you realize you're borrowing a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Then that's a very big... And the challenge is you won't realize until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
You won't realize until it's too late. So it's up to now, like, you know, you start looking at the way you can change your habit.
Okay. Before Samuel gives us the second thing, I'm just wondering, because sometimes when we talk about living beyond your means, we always kind of tend to look at low-income earners. Do you have people who are earning some good money, but yet they still live beyond their means? Amos?
I mean, that's the majority.
Oh, really?
Today, that's the majority, the middle-class caste. In fact, you will be shocked. You will be shocked that some of the people live within their means are people who, let's say, these people who do casual jobs.
Yeah.
I've always given you a scenario of guys who walk across Kibera, through Mbagathi, through South, all the way to industrial area. If that person is making 400 per day, they have budgeted the money. 100 bobbies for that koroboi lamp. I always tell you that you'll always find them queuing.
Yes.
100 bobbies for koroboi. So they will do the koroboi and they will do the cooking. Then they spend 120, 150 on food. Then the rest, they contribute slowly towards their rent. So this person has a budget. It may not be rent, but it's something that is practical. But the other example I give you is myself. When I was 26.
Yes.
I had 110,000 shillings. But let me tell you something. My net pay was 30,000.
Yes.
Because I got myself a loan. I got a top up from the SACCO. I mean, I had to get into a bigger house.
Yes.
I had to buy new furniture. So in 1 month, everything changes. Why? Because of the pressure. So you'll find that if you're not careful, if you cannot be faithful with the 10,000,
yeah,
even the 10 with the tens of thousands that you'll be earning later will not make any difference. And that is why the more money you earn without discipline, the more problems you're creating for yourself.
Okay, great. We'll get to the second thing that Samuel wanted to share with us. We'll get to that in a bit. It's about 17 minutes after 8. I'm giving you an opportunity to come in and ask questions if you have questions. We're talking about income versus expenses. Are you spending more than you earn? SMS line 20316, WhatsApp number 0786 316 316. Income versus expenses. Are you spending more than you earn? Are you living beyond your means? Amos Ngahu, financial consultant, and Samuel Gadhungu, director, X Plus Consultants. Those are our guests this morning as we have this discussion. I have a very interesting concern here, gentlemen. Maybe you can advise this listener. She says, hi, I support my parents and myself and my son. I make a budget and live on the lowest amount. 1 bedroom house in a low-end estate, PP1 school fees, and I rarely go out to buy clothes. My money gets to the end of the month, but I'm not able to invest for myself. How do I end this cycle? Because my parents are old and can't work. I feel like it's a poverty cycle, and I don't know how to break it. Amos, how does she break this cycle? Her money gets her to the end of the month, but that's it. It's like she is doomed to stay in that. Yeah.
I didn't hear.
We can't get you.
There's one thing I've come to understand. One thing I've come to understand over time, and over the number of people that I've interacted with, and I've come to understand the issue of season. There are seasons, even just like salvation.
Yeah,
you get saved, you're excited, you're full of Holy Ghost. I mean, you're preaching to everything that is moving. And then there's a second phase where now you become a bit casual. You're asking God, I mean, is that really bad? Can I do this? And then the third season is when now you're on the other side asking yourself how you got there. But the most beautiful part is when now you're coming, and when you start thinking, you start knowing who you are, and you're seeing your servants, your father's servants are being treated better than you as a son. And once we understand that there are seasons for everything, it is very important for us to know that the time your child, it's one child. My mom tells me that mtoto hajaekelewa mawe. They're growing, right?
Yeah.
They're growing.
Yeah.
So you realize there's a time you're buying diapers, now you're not diapers. There's a time you're buying uniform and cleaning uniform because he was dirty, now everything is changing. All you can do right now is try to see what lessons are you learning during this time, because if you're doing bad financially, probably this is an opportunity for your child to see how you are adjusting to difficult times. Okay?
Yeah.
So that now they have a story for tomorrow. For tomorrow. So it is important for you, first of all, to acknowledge that the season that you are in is not permanent. Okay?
Yeah.
Because this is where now you start looking at what is it that I can on an extra, to do an extra or to gain an extra income. And a majority of us, this thing was not discovered until COVID hit. you know? And one of the questions she needs to ask herself is, the worst thing is not to grow or not to invest. What is the worst that could happen? She could actually lose the job that she's on right now.
Yeah.
Is she prepared for it?
Oh.
You know?
Yeah.
So she should be able to be asking, it's not the worst case scenario. So it is important for her to start saying and start assuming, if I lost my job today, where would I start? You know? And I'm telling you, COVID personally, on a personal level, showed me things that I could never, ever have thought I would do in terms of businesses.
Okay.
But it came up because I go to a place whereby, and my colleague here can attest to this, there were no trainings. All trainings, isn't it?
Yeah.
So by the time you think we can do Zoom trainings and stuff, time had gone, and so there's no cash flow. So you have to look for alternative sources of income that are way beyond or way away from what you do on a daily basis.
Okay.
So she should not be discouraged. She needs to start appreciating where she is, to start asking herself, even if I lost what I'm doing right now, what would I be able to do? And that's the best way to approach, to see how much you can start making, and little by little, that can be able to meet even a recurrent expenses. If she makes 500 bob is enough to buy a token for electricity, right?
Very true.
You get?
Yeah.
So slowly, so that you see the value of the little income you're making by it a certain recurrent expense, and then you remove that expense slowly. That's how you appreciate small money.
Okay. Samuel, back to you. You were telling us some of the key indicators to know that you're living beyond your means. What's the second one?
The second one is one of the most interesting one.
Say that again. We can't get you clearly.
And it's whereby when you go to your kitchen, you go.
Oh my goodness, we're having a.
All right.
We keep.
This one is the most interesting.
Samuel, we keep losing you. Can you begin again?
Okay. This is the most interesting one. Whereby you get into your kitchen and you open your fridge and you find that it is empty.
Okay.
Yeah, because this now shows that you are saving a lot of money buying fast food outside there, and by doing so, you are not saving at all. So you are saving a lot outside there.
Oh my goodness, we seem to be having an issue with your connection. Samuel, unakuja ukienda, unaenda ukikam. We can't get. Amos, are you there? Amos, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You can hear him. Okay, maybe you can say something, because Samuel's connection is coming on and off. He had begun talking about.
It is that time.
Samuel, we can't get you. Okay, we're having issues with the connection this morning. Let's try and sort it out. We are live on Family TV as well. It is the Financial Clinic. We're having a bit of issues with the connection, but I believe they've been sorted out. This morning, we are talking about income versus expenses. Are you spending more than you earn? I'm hanging out with Amos Ngahu, financial consultant, and Samuel Gazungu, Director, X Plus Consultants, and they're helping us understand how we can get to that place where we are not spending more than we earn. I think, gentlemen, one of the main issues for a lot of people is to balance, because if you talk to many people, they will tell you, these are the things I need to do, and the money is not enough, and I don't know how else to do them. So what are some creative ways that people can begin to cut down their expenses? Watu lazima wakule, watu lazima wavae, watu lazima waende kazini, watu lazima waeke airtime, bundles are necessary nowadays. So you have all these things, you have children in school, and sometimes it becomes hard for an individual to know, okay, how do I reduce my expenses? I don't see any possible ways. So do you have some tips you can give us on how we can reduce our expenses, Amos? Well,
in fact, I had to seek permission to share a story that I had. I was having yesterday.
Yeah.
This friend of mine started his first job earning 30,000.
Okay.
He got a promotion. He was earning 60. And then he got another promotion and he was earning 85,000.
Okay.
But now with COVID, they were told that their salary would be reduced to 70%. And now he's panicking and he's telling me I can't meet my expenses. And when we with him, his rent is 15,000.
Yes.
So where does his money go? Then I came to realize, and especially men, and this in particular I'm addressing men. And let me just offend men. We carry a lot of unnecessary baggage.
What do you mean?
From childhood, we've grown up to impress our parents. You finish high school, you want to impress your friends. You are in college, you want to impress your girlfriend. You get married, you want to impress your wife. You get kids, you want to impress your kids. You want to impress the society. So I realized that this guy, because guys in the village know he works in Nairobi, he's educating one or two of his cousins.
Okay.
Every month he has to send his mother money.
That's the story of many of us.
Yes, and listen, and this guy does not take a single drop of alcohol. He is as straight as come. So I'm addressing, yes, he's your brother. And I saw how offended you got when you look at the fridge and it's empty. I saw how you got about it. But however, this is the thing.
Yes.
You see, this is a guy who has a good heart and he wants to support people, he wants to help people. But the question is that sustainable? Because to a point, he has to keep borrowing to sort out one or two things. Sometimes it is good to take a halt and take a stop and tell people who depend on you for the next 6 months, for the next 1 year, give me a break. There's an adjustment I'm doing so that I can make your support adjustable.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is that we are playing the role of God in people's lives. Mtu anataka pesa, we throw money at and sometimes we get offended when they don't appreciate. And that's why you'll find men will act or react in a different way.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is, first of all, to take a halt and say, how much money am I spending on giving? Is it within the percentage? How much money, if my kids always want that on Sunday, can I afford it? Can I sit down with them and tell them, you know what, we will not be doing pizzas every Sunday?
Yeah.
So that now you know that if I'm spending, let's say, of course there are parameters, there are percentages of budgets that should not go beyond. If you're paying, for instance, more than 20% of your income as rent, my friend, it's time to relocate. You know, because the time that you really even lose that job, no one will support you. So one of the biggest tips to do that is, first of all, to evaluate how much of what you're carrying in expenses is unnecessary. Okay?
Yeah.
And most importantly, we are not talking about just money, how you can control expenses. I made sure I prepared some apparatus and they would come in handy. So the other day, I was going to the supermarket and I saw some offer.
Yeah.
Some antiseptic. And I actually bought it. And I don't know why I bought it, but I knew the reason. So don't worry, I've not put the brands.
Hey, when him Janja. When him Janjis.
Yeah, but these are two antiseptic.
Yeah.
And they were attached together. So for a certain price, for the price of the big one, you get an extra small one.
Yeah.
Okay? And I asked myself, if my son asked me which one I should use first, which one do you think I should use first?
Si yako kadogo.
Why?
Si yako ndio kasare.
You see, that's the mentality that most of us get into these free things with.
Yes.
So chances are a lot of this goes to wastage.
Because it's free.
Because it's free.
Yes.
But you think about, what if you get home, take away this one and hide it, far away in those emergency things that you hide. So this lasts you for a month.
Yes.
So, and then in between you get visitors or there's a spillage. And then you know, Munalipwa that year, but on 25th, you've ran out of this. Now, this now all of a sudden becomes a miracle.
Very true.
You understand?
Very true.
So it is important for us to be able to identify and demystify how much is enough for us, and the little that we get on the side, we put it where? On the side. It's not waste. So
Okay.
you'll find a lot of people who get bonus at the end of the year, they waste the money. They waste. And if you get a bonus, if for instance you're in a circle and you get a dividend of like 20 or 30,000,
Yeah.
use that to your car insurance.
Si ya kubonda nini raha na kuambia mwili pole.
No,
Si lazima
recurrent
tuambie mwili
expenses.
pole. Wait, what do you mean?
So, part of what the point I want to bring across in reducing expenses is having those expenses met passively. You get what I mean?
I get what you mean.
So if you get, yeah, just like I was sharing, if you make a 500 bob, someone gives you lunch for 500 bob, nunua token ya stima.
Yeah. Okay.
That will continue reducing the expenses.
Okay, Samuel, I want to get back to you. I hope the connection is better now. Amos mentioned something about
yes.
about expense, about percentages of expenses. Yes, can you tell us a bit about that? Because I find that sometimes that's an issue. You find somebody's earning, like Amos said, somebody's earning 30,000. And they want to live in a house of 15,000. There's a friend of mine, got a kibarua somewhere, and I think he was earning about 18K, and he wanted to move into a house where he's paying 12K. And I'm thinking, So talk to us a bit about those percentages, Samuel.
All right.
Yeah.
Mostly what people normally do, they normally think more on how much they need to earn. But they rarely think about how much they need to spend.
Yes.
Because as you look for much money, as people say in quotes, you should now think, first of all, think about how am I going to spend? Because that is the bottom line of everything before you even go to earn more. So that now you'll be able to understand your expenditure.
Yes.
Because you put value in understanding your expenditure, and that is whereby you now start having the budget into place. So that whatever you are going to earn, you know where to spend on. And that is whereby you'll be able now to know this is important, this is not important for now, this can wait. Because people, as Amos was saying, most people buy things on impulse.
Yeah.
Because you have seen something on promo, you buy. Because you are saying, this one is for free. But you are buying a product that you don't have maybe in need on that particular time.
Okay.
So you don't have any money for savings. And the best money that that gives you joy is money that you have saved, not money that you're going to earn. Because money that you're going to earn is a bit expensive because it will be taxed. But money that you have saved, it will not incur any taxes. And that is the area that more people don't really understand about.
Okay.
Secondly, as Amos was saying, is whereby many people spend money, but they cannot tell you where they have spent this money with. So they don't understand the areas that they are spending their money. And that is the problem that we have even in the society.
Okay.
Then the element of we want to impress. I want to impress my my social class, and I want to fit into it without looking on myself and looking on maybe what I am and what is my responsibilities that I need to meet.
Okay.
So we live as a society of group cluster. I want to fit into a certain cluster so that I can be associated with. And those are the problems that we are having. And this is what we need now to address to the society.
Okay.
Then there are things that sometimes give you a very strong indicator when you are stressed about money. Because you find people saying that, I am stressed. And when you ask that person, he'll tell you, I don't have money, money, blah, blah, those kind of issues.
Yeah.
Because one, he can look the money he is getting or she is getting, he cannot be able to account for it. it is not enough for the expenditure. He doesn't have money for a rainy day.
Yeah.
He doesn't have any money even to buy maybe a plot
Yes.
for future.
Okay.
And that is the area that you now start finding that you are even beyond
Your means.
the limits. On the issue of even spending, if you find yourself you are not saving about 10% or 5%, know that you are in the red flag. Because let's say, for example, you are earning 30,000 and you can't be able to save maybe 3,000 or 1,500 in a month. Know that maybe you are going to the red flag of paycheck to paycheck.
Okay. On that.
And now for the
yeah, keep going.
yes.
Keep going.
The issue that you have brought about, whereby someone is earning 30,000 and wants to live in a house of 15,000. You may find that this person haven't done a budget of all the expenditures that he wants to incur in that particular month.
Yeah.
Because if he has listed or she has listed all those expenditures, he could be able to allocate those amounts and say that rent will carry this percentage, food will carry this percentage, school fees will carry this percentage, and by doing so, it will help him or her to be able to budget within his or her means.
Okay. On this whole issue, Amos, sometimes it looks good on paper, but when we go back to the ground, kwa ground vitu ni different, my friend. So let's take this guy who's earning 30,000, and you're telling me that he needs to spend 20% on rent. 20% ya 30,000 ni pesa ngapi? 6,000. Sindio?
Yes.
6,000 Nairobi ataishi wapi? In this Nairobi of ours, where will they find a house for 6,000?
Let's first of all even forget the rent.
Yes.
There's another strategy, and I like Samuel has shared about the budget.
Yes.
Most of us, based on our personalities, I told you there are money personalities. Kuna watu spenders.
Yeah.
Na kuna money holders. Those are the two major personalities. And you'll find extremes of both are very dangerous. You'll find someone who's a holder, and we call them guys who have toxic frugal.
Yeah.
Lakini sasa tuongelee juu ya where I fall, spenders.
Yes.
Why lie to ourselves that we will come up with a budget and follow it up? It's a joke. I mean, and I'm talking to everybody who's like me. You plan vizuri.
Yeah.
I mean, you're busy minding your own business. You've planned, you've budgeted. Imwezi. Easy expenses zitaniona. Yeah, and you know what happens. But for the biggest tip for such guys, and I've seen it work for me personally, is that if you get your money, just flip the budget the way we know it. The first thing, if you're a Christian, give it out where you need to give. Give your percentage. Number two, you go to the savings that you have chosen. If you're in a circle, just store that 3K, put it in the circle. And if you have to debt that you're paying, lipa to, then the rest that is remaining, you need to squeeze it to fit your expenses. Because the challenge comes, I told you our working style mid-month in a different na end month. I've always said that.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is the time that people know that you have a kit, right?
Yeah.
So, very important for you not to walk around with disposable cash. I repeat, if you have that disposable cash, I'll come to you, Jemo, nikwambie, leo manzi, kuna kakuku ka kienyeji kanapikwa pale down. Simame hapo lunch.
Hey.
And then tomorrow I'll owe you a favor.
Yeah.
But because I still have my cash, I will do it. But what if I have paid everything, I only have 3,000 left in my account for fare that month? Trust you me, if I leave work early, I'll walk home so that I spend 100 per day to fit my budget for transport.
Okay.
So the most important thing is to get rid of the most important things that you need to do with your money. The rest is where we say now, you squeeze the money to fit into your expenses. Oh, sorry, you fit the
to fit into your money.
into your money. Because at the end of the day, you will find, and I notice this with a lot of concern, that most people, you see, Kibera will produce more self-made millionaires than Karen.
Oh, really?
Yes, self-made. Because this person has learned to adjust.
Uh-huh.
And they know that that is for a season.
Okay.
They know I'm a bedsitter for a season.
Mm-hmm.
So can I, even as I look at how I can do away with the unnecessary expenses that I'm carrying, can I move into a smaller house? Can I even dispose of some of my property to fit into that house?
Okay.
And then know it's a season.
Uh-huh. I think that's the key word.
Yes.
It's a season, meaning then you have a plan you're working towards. Because I think for many people, that's what they lack. Listen to this SMS from Wamboi. Wamboi says, good morning. On this whole issue, I got into problems in 2015 and I had to adjust my life. I relocated from Milimani to Uthiru, thus reducing my rent by 75%. I sold my car as I realized it was a luxury. I started getting fresh produce from the farms, thus food expenses are really low, and I only buy what I need, not what I want. The only thing I didn't compromise on is my children's education and the savings I make from the reduced expenses. I'm able to sustain the kids in school and even set aside some savings, which I invest in the money market. Good for you, Wamboi. Thank you for that. My good friend Otieno is saying good houses for 6 to 8K budget, good security, access to transport, electricity, water, and internet. Check out Uthiru and Kabete areas. Good for disciplined living, too, because it's far from the city. Spending temptations to Kochini, the Lord provides. My friend. Sawa. Asante umejibu swali yangu. Samuel, a friend of mine once told me, before we run out of time, a friend of mine who's also a financial consultant, he said, many times financial consultants will tell you about living below your expenses. For him, he was telling me, I think we should be telling people how to increase their income to live the life they want. Teach me how to increase my income so that I can live this kind of life that I desire to live. So I think that's also an area we should touch. How do we increase this income? What ideas can you present to us that can help us to begin to think in ways and manners in which we can increase our income? Because hatujakwama hapo.
Yes, sure. There is one big element that is called financial discipline.
Yes.
Because without the financial discipline, you may not realize that better living and better, let's say, better earnings. Because this will only come after you know how to save. Because savings are the ones that will give you the money that you require for better living. Because you may even be earning 200,000 in a month, but your spending is almost 110% of that amount.
Yes.
Maybe you are spending 220, nothing to spend, but you are still earning much versus maybe someone who is earning 30,000. So here is about now the balancing of your expenses. And as I come back to that question that we should be telling how people to earn more, we have what we call personal financial goals and the vision that you have as an individual. And that is what you need to lay out very clearly. And you say that today, this is my budget because I am living in Odero and I would like to live in Karen in one particular time. These are my expenditures. When I want to be living in Karen, this will be my expenditure.
Yeah.
So what do I need to do on my income? Do I need to get a second job? Do I need to nurture my talent? Do I need to drop my expensive hobbies?
Yes.
Because there are hobbies that people normally get involved into, which are very expensive.
Very true.
In a point whereby even when it comes to saving, it becomes a challenge. So here is an area that now, after putting down all your expenses. Now you need now to come back now to your income. Do you need to have several income generating projects? And how are these projects funded? Are they funded based on your savings, or are you going to get credit?
Yeah.
Then as you go to that line, is whereby you now identify whether you need to even be self-employed based on the experience that you have gotten maybe from the job that you are in. Then do you have a mentor? Because most people normally don't value the engagement of a mentor in their life.
Okay.
It's just someone who is working with you, so that he guides you to areas that he finds that are risky. He will tell you, if you get into this, you may encounter this and this problem. And when you get into those risky or these problems, how do you get into it, out of it? As Amos was saying, there are those things that are seasonal.
Okay.
For example, when you are starting a business, you may not start a business today and it makes profits. So you have to move with it for several months until it gets to what we call an equilibrium, whereby all the expenses have been met by the business, and the business is now making much money, or good profits. So this is an area that needs someone to have a mentor when it comes now to get increasing their wealth. Let's call it wealth, because here we want to break the element of this cycle. Because the cycle you cannot break with riches, you can only break it with wealth. Because you are even planning even for the future and even for the generation that you are raising, so that it doesn't fall back to where you started.
Okay, great. Amos,
and I'll give you for example.
Yeah. Well, Amos, do you want to add anything to that? Because I have 1 minute remaining.
Well, I like what he's asked, because it's very pertinent. Because I believe the key to financial success is having a passive income that over time has overtaken your active income. And but I like taking it in stages. And in this clinic, there are some people who need to stop bleeding.
Yeah.
Still in the same clinic, there are people who need just medication. And there are others who need a vaccine.
Yes.
You know, it's a whole different stage.
Na wengine wanataka kuadmitiwa.
Sure.
So when we look at just as we look at that, it is important for someone to do a personal analysis to know where they are financially. To know if I need to stop the thing I'm overspending, or I'm not in that category. I'm in this category of I am not sick, but neither am I too healthy. I am susceptible to a disease. And the most dangerous one is where people feel like they are not sick. They feel like they are okay until that job is taken away from. So it is important to start by evaluating, know where you are. If there's bleeding that needs to be stopped, if you're in too much debt or you're overspending, we manage that. Then we go to the treatment. What are some of the things you can be able to do to build that passive income? Because remember, any job that you're doing or any business can go away in a jiffy, just like that. We've seen that in COVID. We've seen this, and it's not going to stop. Some of us, COVID may not be the last catastrophe in your finances. So you need to prepare for all the seasons. Best way to prepare, I agree with the issue of passive income, is to have a passive income, at least for starters, to meet your very basic needs. To make sure your school fees for kids is paid for, or your rent and food, so that now you're not getting distracted. Because remember, being broke is a distraction to cash flow.
Yes, very true. Wow. Gentlemen, unfortunately, my time is up. We have to cut short this conversation, but I believe we'll have to pick it up again, because it's an area that a lot of people need answers to and ideas on how they can begin to turn the ship around where their finances are concerned. Amos Ngahu Samuel Gazungu, thank you so much for being a part of Financial Clinic. My time is up for today. Have a great day.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.